let's talk about abuse. Alright, we're not going to talk about abuse, but we're going to talk about forcefulness, especially forcing oneself. So, I am an expert at forcing myself. All my life, I've pushed myself harder and harder, and I ended up um, losing losing understanding of my own needs and wants. I was so used to the musts and the have tos that I was unable to tell what I actually wanted. And it covered every single aspect of my life. I would always have an agenda for everything. I would always have a grand plan for everything. And I was extremely obsessive about every single aspect of my life and about not being, but appearing a certain way. And it was miserable. So I want to warn you about forcing yourself. Yes, pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone for a reason might be helpful. However, be careful. If you keep on pushing yourself to do every single thing, then you should ask yourself why. Why is it so hard for you to do certain things? Maybe there is an actual valid reason behind why you don't want to do something. And I'm not talking about instances where you have to push yourself a little to just start doing something that you enjoy. I'm not talking about just feeling a little bit lazy about, anything. I'm talking about actual forcefulness. I'm talking about how you might feel exhausted and yet you keep pushing and you're saying, oh, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. I'm really good at this, unfortunately. I'm really good at forcing myself. I'm really good at breaking my own boundaries and I'm still in the process of setting boundaries within myself because I still can't tell the simplest things about myself. Sometimes I can't tell if I'm tired. Sometimes I can't tell if I'm sleepy. I can't even tell if I'm hungry or not often because I'm so used to pushing through. I'm so used to being like, oh, okay, we can deal with this later. Now, this is a task, let's do this. So, and I'm not saying that I am so, goal-driven and goal-oriented and I get things done. I don't, actually. It's just that I get so disoriented by my continuous pushing that I actually accomplish the opposite. I can't do much because I am so forceful about everything. So, learning to set boundaries with yourself is extremely important. And this actually comes from childhood as much as we hate the notion that everything is connected to our childhood. I believe strongly that the foundation for healthy boundaries lies within your childhood experiences. And if you were never taught your own limitations, if you were not allowed to take yourself seriously when you were a child, take your needs seriously, then you might have a harder time establishing boundaries when you grow up. So, and being an overproductive individual not only leads to exhaustion and what's that called? I can't remember, whatever. It actually leads to the decline in quality of whatever it is you choose to do. So again, I talked earlier about how even though I'm so on the outside, I'm so goal driven and goal oriented, I actually accomplish very little. And it's not because I plan so much. It's more about that I get stuck with the little things, and I keep doing and redoing the smallest, the most mundane, unimportant things, and then I am exhausted, and then I can't focus, and whatever I do produce is of such quality that I'm just like, just scratch that, let's start over. And getting out of that mindset has been a huge struggle for me. So part of this is why I'm making crappy videos now, is because I wanted to make videos for 5 years. For 5 years, I had this burning desire deep inside of me to make content, and I would never allow myself, because I would be like, oh, but you don't know how to edit, but your camera quality sucks, but, and I would always come up with all kinds of stupid reasons why I couldn't do what I wanted to do. And after years and years of battling with my own fake overproductivity, I now am like, whatever, I'll do what I want. So, and it's liberating to allow yourself to just do what you want to do, no matter how badly it turns out. And my new boundaries are, I can't push myself. I'm telling myself constantly, stop pushing yourself. If you want to do something truly, eventually you're gonna do it. Maybe not now, maybe not tomorrow, but you'll do it. And if not, well, I mean, you'll do something else, okay? It's not like life's gonna be over. Life's gonna be like, oh, you missed your chance and become the person. Your license is revoked. That was the best acting you've ever witnessed. You're welcome. So yeah, setting yourself free from the limitations of forcefulness and overproductivity is possible, but you have to take baby steps. You cannot become suddenly an underachiever. You cannot suddenly understand all your boundaries. I wish it was the simple process of just realizing, oh, I'm pushing myself too hard, let's stop. But let me share a few things that I've tried that helped me. So, what did I learn about setting boundaries within myself? So, one of the first things that I learned and that I'm still using is to not talk to yourself as if you hate yourself, and not talk down to yourself. And my cat is here licking himself, and that is very distracting. Excuse you. He's going to continue because he's a cat. So no negative self-talk. And it sounds like such a simple little thing that we're told to do, or not to do rather, all the time. But it really has been immensely helpful when I realized that I would never talk to anyone the way I talk to myself. I would never degrade anyone the way I degraded myself. I would never hold another person to the same standard. And obviously, after a while, after you've been talking negatively to yourself, talking hatefully to yourself for years and years and years, this abuse will slowly creep into your other interactions. So this is when I actually had my wake-up call. This is when I realized that I was starting to treat others the way I was treating myself. And I wasn't treating myself very nicely, to say the least. I was treating myself like garbage. So I was beginning to treat others this way too. So this really helped me understand that I had to stop then. And slowly I've incorporated different little techniques. So I used to have, and I still sometimes utilize this, which is the zero tolerance for abusive language kind of strategy within myself. So anytime I catch myself thinking of myself in extremely negative terms, when I start calling myself names within my head, when I start treating myself badly, when I think I don't deserve something because I didn't do such and such things, I just stop myself and I say, you're not going to do this anymore. We've been there, and it's not actually a very productive place to be in, and it's not a place you deserve to be in. So at first it felt very unnatural. It felt very scary to actually try and kind of uplift yourself. But after a while, it got easier. So that is my rule number one for myself that I'm sharing with you. No negative self-talk. No degrading oneself. Okay, the second thing that have immensely helped me is going to sound incredibly banal. And it is mindfulness meditation. How many times have you heard, oh, meditation helped me so much, meditation saved me? Well, maybe you've never heard this, but in certain circles you actually do hear this a lot. So mindfulness meditation has been a groundbreaking experience for me. And the great thing about meditation is that you can tailor it to suit your own needs. You don't have to meditate a certain way. There's no right way to meditate. And I have been practicing dance as a form of relaxation and as a form of endorphin-induced euphoria for a while. And then I learned more about dynamic meditation and different forms of active meditation where you don't have to just sit down and watch yourself. You can actually do things and watch yourself. So this has been a big part of my life for the past few years, where I dance as meditation. And it's been really helpful, and I can talk more about it, and I will talk more about it whether you like it or not. So that is number 2, mindfulness meditation. So number 3, the thing that helped me set healthier boundaries within myself was to just let yourself be, okay? Just leave yourself alone. It's okay to not do anything, and it's okay to rest. That is the one where I still struggle a lot. I still cannot allow myself to rest. I still judge myself on my productivity. I am still looking for achievements. But this is something that I'm going to hopefully improve upon and report back to you. Okay, the number 4 thing that helped me is no rewards systems. And let me explain what I mean. Do not play the carrot on the stick game with yourself. Do not set yourself goals and then promise yourself that after you reach the goal you're going to receive X. Don't do that, okay? This is a terrible mistake to make, and I've been making this mistake for years. It took me a full-blown shopping addiction to realize that I was mistreating myself by giving myself a present every time I thought I was productive enough. So I trained myself like a little monkey in the circus. Oh, you do this and you receive this. And for years and years and years, it worked. I was like a little circus monkey dancing for rewards. And when you say it out loud, it sounds so degrading, and that is because it is. So no rewards. Actually, you will read that in all kinds of self-improvement books to actually do this. But throw these self-improvement books into the trash if they give you such advice. Do not give yourself rewards for accomplishing things. You know why? Well, first of all, just as I mentioned before, you're setting yourself up for an addiction. I mean, maybe not, but there is a huge possibility you might end up addicted to something. Secondly, you are actually taking the joy out of the process of doing something or accomplishing something. So if you give yourself a reward, let's say for exercising, if you say, okay, I'm going to exercise today for an hour, and then I can have a piece of cake, whatever it is you prefer to eat. So if you do that, there is a chance that as you are exercising, you are looking forward to eating that cake, or you are in the moment of vulnerability or tiredness, you kind of remind yourself of this reward. You're like, don't you want to eat that cake? And it takes away the joy and the natural flow of the process. And I'm not saying that exercising is like great and wonderful and pleasing, but it can be, you can find a way to exercise in a way that you enjoy. And if you don't enjoy exercising, then maybe don't. Maybe find an activity where you are more physically engaged that you enjoy. And I really am speaking from experience here, because I used to lead a very sedentary lifestyle, and I used to believe that I hated all kinds of physical activity. And I actually hated forcefulness, and I hated that I was forced to do certain set of activities as a younger person. So that made me dislike physical activity, because I thought, oh, in sports and activities, you always have to force yourself, even if you hate what you're doing. And that ended up being untrue. You actually can enjoy yourself when you do sports. It doesn't have to be torturous. So that is one example on how setting up rewards can ruin your experience and make your life worse. Let me give you another one. The reward is also going to, I'll give you an example, okay? Let me just formulate this thought. So the reward itself, after a while, can become irrelevant to you. So you might lose interest in this reward after you've abused it for forever. So it happened to me, actually. So I used to shop. Every time I was stressed, I shopped. Every time I was overwhelmed, I shopped. Every time I had to do something important and I didn't want to, I forced myself with the promise of shopping. So shopping has become my drug of choice, and it has really, really influenced every aspect of my life negatively. So I couldn't actually kick the habit after a while. I realized that it was harmful to me and to my finances, and I was trying to quit. But I couldn't. I just couldn't. I was so used to it. Even though it brought me zero joy to shop, to buy new stuff, I kept doing it. So one of the things that helped me break out of a shopping addiction was to break the reward system that I had created in my mind. And it happened accidentally. It wasn't like I sat down and was like, how do I manipulate myself better? No, it was a kind of a natural process, so to speak. I just kept looking for ways to stimulate myself to do unpleasant activities. So this was the chosen path, and it was incredibly harmful. So please don't do that. That was number 4. Do not create a reward system for whatever it is you're doing. Don't reward yourself. And of course, sometimes it could be a healthy thing in very minor in minor cases. Can you even say it? I don't think so. So let me rephrase that real quick and pretend like I didn't say the thing before. And now I lost my train of thought and I don't know what I'm saying. Okay, I'll just pretend I didn't say anything. Can you hear my cat still licking himself? Enjoy. So that's what I learned about setting healthy boundaries. And I'm sure I learned 10 million things more. And I'm more than willing to talk about them.